Stewart, I got to be honest. I cannot imagine with these comments she's making right here that there's going to be a strike this weekend. Like, if you feel like this is finally moving in a productive direction, why would you do that? So now I've got to wonder.
Breanna Stewart, who is the vice president of the WNBA Players Association, just said something surprising. After 17 months of slow and stalled talks, and 6 weeks where the league did not respond at all, players were even talking openly about going on strike this weekend. But now, one of the top union leaders has said she feels better about where the new CBA talks are heading. That raises a big question. What changed in just the last 3 days?
One's the president and the other two are vice presidents. Make sure you like, make sure you hit the subscribe, make sure you're still subscribed. I got to be honest, I didn't see this update and these comments coming. I didn't. But we are here. So, New York Liberty star Breanna Stewart has been one of the most important people to listen to when it comes to ongoing negotiations between the WNBA League office and the Players Association for the next CBA. Stewart is the vice president of the
Nafisa Collier, Nneka Ogwumike, and Breanna Stewart are 3 vice presidents on the Players Union Committee. But based on what Stewart said publicly, there may be some disagreement forming. While Stewart is talking about progress and a more business-focused approach, Ogwumike reportedly flew to meet with Athletes Unlimited players, and those talks suggested a very different view of how the negotiations are really going.
However, it appears that this proposal was much closer to what the players are seeking, which Stewart conveyed during a February 11th episode of Game Recognized Game podcast. Quote, the CBA proposal that we got, there's movement. We got traction. We're finally headed in a direction, Stewart said. I'm so excited. I'm excited to hopefully negotiate back and really do the negotiations. But unfortunately, it's been 17 months, and we haven't negotiated.
The WNBA sent its latest proposal in early February 2025 after staying silent for 6 weeks, a period when players were seriously preparing for a possible strike. That proposal came after the league received the players' demands and, according to reports, felt those demands were so unrealistic that they didn't respond for over a month.
Continued. She later added, I'm feeling better about the direction of the CBA. I'm feeling better. The owners are finally acknowledging and being receptive to what we want. The players as well. We all had to kind of put our business hats on and get into that mindset. What took so damn long? I just want to understand, why would you not have your business mindset hat on 3 months ago? The season's on the line. That I hear things like that and it's still absurd. And I'm hoping we can get this thing done quickly. So
Breanna Stewart is describing the situation in a very specific way. She says they haven't really been negotiating, just arguing about what they don't like. That makes 17 months of back and forth sound like a simple disagreement instead of serious labor talks. She also admits they are only now starting to approach things with a business mindset, as if that should not have been the focus from the beginning of CBA discussions. What really stands out is how she is explaining it to other players. She connects revenue sharing directly to missed games, saying that if they don't accept a deal and games are cancelled, everyone makes less money. That doesn't sound like someone preparing teammates for a strike. It sounds like someone trying to stop one from happening. The bigger issue is whether the rest of the union leadership agrees with her. Recent interviews showed players with very different views. Some said they weren't even sure what was going on with negotiations. Others admitted they couldn't afford to lose paychecks. A few said they were willing to keep fighting if the final offer was strong enough. It shows a union that may not be fully united on what to do next.
Oh, you miss games, it's less money. Interesting. She told people, if you don't take this, we miss games, it's less money. Okay. And not to say that we should submit and just say yes to any proposals that we don't like. But this is a business now, and that's how businesses go. Wow. I'm floored that there was some lucidness there. Did we just get a little glimpse of common sense out of Breanna Stewart? If we miss games, we lose money. I mean, that's pretty obvious. I'm just pointing.
Breanna Stewart is finally talking about this like it's what it actually is, a business. She admits that businesses require compromise, which is a very different tone from the strong public stance we've seen for months. But pay attention to what she's not saying. She's not calling the proposal great. She's not saying players are thrilled. She's saying there's movement and traction, which in negotiation language usually means, it's not what we wanted, but at least they're engaging now. That tells you the league's February proposal must have shifted on something meaningful. It addressed enough of the players' concerns that Stewart felt comfortable going on a podcast and sounding cautiously optimistic. That suggests ownership gave ground somewhere important. One major issue appears to be housing. Veteran players had pushed hard for individual housing instead of shared accommodations, and that had become a serious sticking point. Now it seems the league found a way to structure that benefit in a way that works financially, which likely helped ease tensions. It doesn't mean everything is solved, but it does mean real progress might finally be happening.
In regards to the CBA, all over the place. Some players acting like they didn't even know what was going on. Other ones saying, I can't afford to lose checks. And other ones saying, yeah, we can fight for a while, but if the money's looking good, and let's be real, the money's looking a lot better. The money is looking a whole lot better. And now the housing...
Breanna Stewart basically just pointed out the core issue in these talks. The players are now in a revenue-sharing system, which means their pay is directly connected to how well the league performs. If games are missed, revenue drops. If revenue drops, their pay drops too. It's straightforward, the tricky part is timing. The players chose to opt out of the previous CBA and start new negotiations before the league's massive $2.2 billion media rights deal with the Walt Disney Company, Amazon, and NBC actually began bringing in full revenue. That deal doesn't fully kick in until this season. So for 17 months, owners were negotiating around projected income, money they expected to earn, not money already sitting in their accounts. That's the tension. The players wanted to lock in their percentage of revenue before seeing how profitable the league would truly be under the new deal. The owners wanted proof in real numbers before agreeing to major salary increases and expanded benefits. So when the league finally submitted a proposal, reportedly built on conservative financial projections, the players felt it didn't go far enough. They rejected it, the owners held their ground, and negotiations stalled for 6 weeks because neither side wanted to move first.
You can go, oh wow, we actually turned a profit for once. And then the players would have actually they had a little situation where they would have got net revenue off of that. Net revenue. If they turned a profit, they get a cut. And because I've said, this is the opportunity
Across multiple interviews, players are giving very different takes on the same CBA situation. Some seem uninformed, others are focused on financial needs, and a few say they'd hold out for better terms. That shows the union isn't presenting a unified front, it's a fractured negotiating position. That's exactly what league executives want, because it makes it easier for them to resist major financial concessions. Breanna Stewart. Clip 856. For many years, team owners supported the league even though it kept losing money. They continued to invest because they believed it would succeed in the long run. Now, just as a new media deal finally gives the league a real chance to make a profit, the players want to lock in their share of the money before anyone knows how much profit there will actually be. That is the main issue being discussed. Some players say the league is now a real business, but it has always been a business, it just wasn't a profitable one. It survived because owners and investors were willing to treat it as a long-term investment. The new media deal is worth $2.2 billion over 11 years, which means about $200 million per year from broadcast partners. That is a huge increase for a league that made around $200 million total in 2023. However, companies like Disney, Amazon, and NBC expect strong TV ratings in return. If games are missed because of a strike, it could hurt viewership and future deals. The next media contract could be much less valuable if broadcasters feel disappointed. Some believe the players should have waited one full season under the new deal before negotiating. That way, they could show real profit numbers instead of relying on predictions. Right now, they are negotiating based on estimates, which gives owners a reason to offer lower deals and wait for players to feel pressure as the season gets closer. There has been some progress. For example, the league agreed to improve housing arrangements for veteran players, which solved one major complaint without costing too much. But the biggest issues, like revenue sharing, salary caps, minimum salaries, and benefits, are still not settled. These decisions depend on future income that has not yet been confirmed. There also seems to be some disagreement among union leaders. One appears open to compromise and starting the season, while another is looking at backup options if talks fail. If league executives sense that the players are not united, they may feel less pressure to improve their offer. League leaders might decide to wait and let the players become more divided. They could wait for money pressure to grow, for the season to get closer, and then offer a final, take-it-or-leave-it deal that worried players might accept. The fact that Stewart went on a podcast to remind everyone that this is a business, and that missing games means losing money, suggests she may already be preparing players to accept less than they first asked for. She seems to be presenting compromise as a smart decision instead of giving in. It is still unclear whether other leaders like Collier and Aguamike agree with her approach. If the union's top leaders are not united and start disagreeing publicly, negotiations could become messy very quickly. Right now, it sounds like there has been some progress. Housing issues seem to be settled, and the general idea of revenue sharing may be agreed on. The remaining disagreements are likely about exact percentages and how quickly changes will happen. After 17 months of talks, both sides seem firmly set in their positions. The league does not want to promise salary numbers without confirmed profits, and the players do not want to wait another year to secure their share of the new media money. At some point, one side will have to give in. Stewart's optimistic tone may mean the players are getting ready to compromise. For fans, the big question is whether the season will start on time or if this calm feeling is just temporary before more problems arise. It is possible she truly sees real progress. It is also possible she is trying to keep players calm and united during a sensitive moment. Only time will tell how it turns out.